Welcome to the 1994 edition of TV10's annual Old Shoe broadcast. Hello, I'm Stu Wilson. This is the 40th get-together between these two teams with the Old Shoe trophy on the line. The first Old Shoe game was played in 1955. The Trojans won that one 25-13. Since that time, the Warriors have the edge, 21-15. There have been 3 ties. With me is Steve Williams. Welcome, Steve. Steve, the Warriors have had the Old Shoe since 1989, and the Trojans last won, of course, in 1988. Now, the Trojans come into this game off an impressive win over Wellsboro, 29-14, and that team beat the Warriors 32-0.
Yes, that game last week really set the stage for a big hoop-de-doo here this afternoon, because up to that point it was looking like both teams would probably have a pretty good shot at it, but maybe a little offensive edge going to the Canton Warriors. But when Troy handled Wellsboro last week, that really set the stage for a good battle here this afternoon.
The Troy Trojan offense looked awful good last week against Wellsboro, and likewise, the Warriors played a very good game in a losing effort against Athens.
It looked like their best game of the season, in my opinion, even though they have won some other games and they lost that one. They came up with a fine effort and broke down on a few plays which provided Athens scores, and other than that, they were really controlling the game very well against Athens. So it looks like the two teams are ready for a real shootout here today.
We're going to play in a very stiff breeze this afternoon. Now, the wind has come around. It started out in the southwest, and it's coming more from the west now. What bearing is that going to have on the game, Steve?
Well, when you look at the stats coming into the game, it looks like Canton has a little bit of an edge, especially in the passing game when you look at the offenses. And obviously the wind is going to make it really tough to pass. This is quite a stiff crosswind blowing here, and unless this lets up by opening kickoff, the Canton Warriors may have to change some of their favorite passing routes because of the wind.
Ryan Smith, of course, the leading passer in the NTL. He has some pretty impressive statistics, and we're watching him right now in warm-up, and the wind didn't seem to bother that pass.
That's right. Brian comes in, I believe he's the top-rated passer in the NTL, and of course he's got he's got the first 2 leading receivers in the NTL in Bob Woodward and Matt Morris. So the passing game has been Canton's strength all year, but statistics can also be an indicator of some other things. Being that the passing game is ranked very highly for the Warriors, that also means their running game hasn't gotten untracked the way probably the Canton coaches would like most of the season.
At least until last week against Athens.
That's right. They looked a lot better last week against Athens, and you know, the NTL traditionally is a run-oriented league. Get the big guys up front going, and make sure you play conservative and take care of the ball. And Canton Warriors probably would like to have run better than they did this year. Those passing stats just kind of show you that they have had to pass in a lot of the games.
I was impressed last week against Athens. I was impressed with the line play, the offensive line play. They were blowing the Athens defensive linemen right down the field.
Yeah, the front group last week for Canton did a really good job, and they were probably outsized most of the way across the line, but they did a fine job, and they should be ready for a good effort here this afternoon too.
On the other side of the field, the Troy Trojans, led by Vermillion. Vermillion, I believe, was a former running back.
Yes, I think they moved him early in the season, but partway into the season to quarterback. Troy offense, you'll usually see them run from a split backfield. That means the backs will be offset a lot, one on to the left, one to the right a little bit. You'll see a split end and a tight end, and many of their passing plays go to number 41. I believe that's Ryan Swatsworth. He's their big receiver. Darren Morgan gets a lot of the carries for the Trojan offense, and he's probably I think he's their leading ground gainer. One of the keys you'll see the Troy offense working on is their inside trap play. That's been a bread and butter play at Troy over the years, and people will recognize that when they see a real quick handoff inside with a little bit of, you'll see a little bit of crossing work by the interior lineman there to open a hole in the middle. That'll be that inside trap play. They also like to favor scissors play, and they run a nice counter to the flanker or wing back, depending on where they have that third back set, with him coming back across the other way. And so those will be some things the Troy offense will be trying to get going today. Defensively, you'll see Troy basically in a 4-4, although they move their two outside linebackers up on the line a lot. It looks like a six-man front with two linebackers. Some of their keys, I think, will be to put a lot of pressure on quarterback Brian Smith of Canton to try and take away his favorite patterns, which would be crossing patterns. He's got Woodward and Morris are both pretty tall boys, and they come across the middle with a hand up so he can see them, and he likes to hit them on the crossing patterns. So if they get a lot of pressure on him, that crossing pattern takes a while to run, and that would be a key to taking that away, and also the long pass patterns. Another key for the Troy defense will be for the defensive backs to cover mainly Bob Woodward. They run a fade pattern, which is Bob runs down the field and out toward the sideline a little, and it's basically done on timing. Smith takes a couple steps back, throws the ball up in the air, and lets Woodward run under it. Generally, he's taller than the back covering him, and he jumps up and gets it. It's been a big scoring play for them a lot this year, and very key for the Troy defensive backs to take that away. And
the wind may have an effect on that also.
Yeah, I think it will. Anytime the timing pattern with the ball up in the air, it's going to fly a lot differently today than it does most days. So that'll really be something that the Warriors will have to contend with offensively. Speaking of the Warrior offense, little change late in the season was they went to Curtis Smith at a running back. He's just a sophomore, and they moved him into the fullback spot, and they seem to be getting some pretty good blocking from him, and he's also had some nice carries, and he's got the speed to break it off. If he gets through the first line of defense untouched, he's got the speed to go all the way, as he did in a couple of games. Defensively, the Warriors began the season in a 4-4 defense. Lately, we've seen them back in their traditional 6-3, 6 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers. And I think they went back to that. It's a little better at stopping the run. We referred to that Wellsboro game for both teams earlier in the season. The Wellsboro ground offense just had a real career night against the Warriors, and I think after that they decided to go back to shutting down the run a little more and commit to that. The keys for making that work will be their linebackers and defensive backs must read their keys correctly. Last week, their breakdowns came a couple times on draw plays that Athens ran, and defenders seem to be in the positions they need to be to shut that draw play down, but depending on which running backs they're looking at, they may not see him coming through the line until it's too late to stop him. That 6-3 does leave you with a lot of open grass behind you when you're on defense, so that'll be very key for them to shut down that running game up front. The defensive ends have to come across and stop the sweeps and the counters for the Canton Warrior defense to succeed.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much. Tonight's TV10 cablecast of the Old Shoe Classic is being brought to you through the cooperation of these fine Canton and Troy sponsors. Citizens and Northern Bank, Troy, where you can save time and money. By Carmen's Villa, Canton, friendly Italian dining and fast takeouts. By Ted Bound Fundraisers, serving the entire area so you can profit. By Ace Distributing, Canton, great variety of popular beverages in stock. By Cook's Pharmacy, Troy, prescriptions, in-store photo processing. By Moore's Automotive, Canton, no fads or fancy stuff, honest experience. By Landon Cedar Ledge, Canton, everything you need when you need it. By the Canton Independent Sentinel, all the new sports features. McClure Motor Company in Troy, get out the new 95 Ford Contour and Merc Mystique, check it out. The Canton Pharmacy, complete prescription service for the cough and colds. By Miller Chevrolet Troy, now with the exciting Jeep Cherokee. By Baldwin's Hardware in Canton, your one-stop Service Star dealer. By Stull's Flowers, shops in both Canton and Troy. Say it with flowers. By Landon Tire in Canton, Hercules tires for all roads and seasons. By Chrissy's Food and Friends Canton for the best delicious fast foods. Lori's Canton, great fashion in sports clothing. Canton Building Supply, remodeling supplies and ideas. By the Canton Body Shop, let Jim Brenchley knock it back into shape. By Campbell's Pet Shop in Canton, tropical fish, birds, reptiles, plus cages. By Eastern Best Dairy Store in Canton, lunches, snacks, or buy bulk. First Citizens National in Troy, check out our roll-up CD Smart Money. The First National Bank of Canton, a friend to help your dreams come true. Please remember to patronize our fine sponsors and tell them you saw their ad here on TV 10. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the national anthem after this timeout.
The 40th annual Old Shoe Classic as the Canton Warriors host the Trojans from Troy. And now, before the starting lineups are given, would you please rise to the flag of our national anthem by the Canton High School Marching Warriors under the direction of Mr. Daniel Boone. And please, all please remain standing for the Canton High School on the water.
All right, now we're going into the starting lineups for today's game, Stu.
Okay, let's have it.
For the Troy offense, starting it in, number 41, Ryan Swatsworth. At the left tackle, number 71, Chris McCaslin. At left guard, number 64, Marty Harding. The center will be number 76, Pete Belowski. Right guard, number 54, Rob Gilliland. The right tackle, number 78, Keith Packard. The Troy Trojan quarterback today, number 18, Jason Vermilia. In the running back spots, number 33, Ozzie Osgood. Number 9, Jason Isbell. Number 32, Darren Morgan.
Okay, I understand that Ozzie Osgood will be wearing number 24 this
he'll
afternoon.
be 24 today? Okay.
I don't know if Bill Krause knows that or not, but we'll know it when he does.
Okay. For the Warrior offense, the left end is number 15, Bob Woodward. The left tackle, number 79, Terry Paris. The left guard will be number 63, Kevin Lehman. The center, number 51, Denny Coyle. The right guard for the Warriors, number 66, Scott Kilburn. Starting at right tackle, number 68, Corey Bellows. The right end, number 20, Matt Morris. Starting quarterback for the Canton Warriors is number 14, Brian Smith. The fullback will be number 31, Curtis Smith. The tailback will be number 42, Greg Bellows. And the swingback will be number 33, Jason Ward. Today's referees will be Kevin McNamara, Rich Dawes, Ed Kelly, Willis Mann, and Dan Ayers.
And we'll be right back with the opening kickoff for the 1994 40th Annual Old Shoe Game right after these messages.
Steve Bryan, Kurt Dix, Greg Wilson, Brett Hickey, and Bill Skipper.
Okay, Stu Williams, Yeah, I know who I am. What's your name? Stu Wilson and Steve Williams here at Miller Moyer Field in Canton, Pennsylvania for the 40th Old Shoe game. The captains are meeting in the middle of the field. And, by golly, we're about ready to go.
Great afternoon for football, Stu. Nice weather, although it's a little windy. Just about blew us off here a few times during the pregame, but we're up high. Down on the field, the wind isn't bad, but once the ball goes in the air, punts, long passes, it may have some effect. But what a pure football contest. There's been a lot of times in the past that this game was going to decide the NTL championship. That's not the case this year, as both teams are down in the standings quite a bit, and they're both ranked 7th in District 4 in their respective class sizes. So this one doesn't decide any playoff games or any championship, but more importantly, it decides the Old Shoe Trophy, possession of that, and that's a matter of pride for both schools. I think these two bunches of guys will be really laying it on the line today.
Troy will receive the kick, and they will be kicking, I believe, into the wind from right to left. The Trojans wearing the white jerseys, the Canton Warriors wearing the crimson jerseys with the white numerals.
And here comes Troy to the field. They're coming down. Reminds me of the old Leon Russell song, Out in the Woods. They chose not to use the locker room today. They were back there by the creek bank having their meeting before the game.
Back in the burdocks. You know, I've done Old Shoe games in the rain and in the cold and in the snow and, yes, in the wind. But I don't know if I've ever seen a nicer day than this is for a football game in November.
It's unusual. There was some tailgating going on before the game, and I noticed bees hovering around the people that had the hot dogs and drinks. And for November, that's extremely unusual.
That's precisely the reason that I didn't use aftershave for today's game. Those bees will get you. I'm not kidding either. Okay.
Warriors are all set for the kickoff.
Yeah.
Kicker is Scott Kilborn. He's got the tee and getting the ball now from the officials.
Looks like Ozzy Osgood. Well, who's that back deep?
Well, he's got 33. Is that? No, that's 32. That'd be Morgan.
That's
right?
Darren Morgan. Darren Morgan and
Darren Morgan deep, and Isbell.
And Isbell on the near side.
The 40th annual Old Shoe game is about to begin.
Well, we've had 40 of them. Canton's won 21, Troy 15, and 3 scoreless ties. But here we go.
Kilborn's kick is a low squib kick, and it's going out of bounds at about the 16-yard line.
And right there, you get an idea of the wind, Stu. Might even be stronger on the field than I imagined. He kicked from the left hash mark. The ball went out of bounds on the right sideline. Really went across there, and I don't think he hit it that far off.
It didn't go very high either to really get into the wind. So
the wind
Troy
knocked
starts
it right
out.
Down.
Yep, Troy starts out with pretty good field position. The ball will be spotted on the 35-yard line. And we'll set the offense for you. Jason Vermillion, of course, is the quarterback. His backs in the backfield are Osgood and Morgan. They're split. He's got Jason Woodard wide to the right. Give is up the middle.
That looked like Osgood.
And he got nothing.
Yeah, he stopped in there by Lehman on the left side, along with Paris.
So that'll bring up scoreboard says 2nd and 9. It's closer to 2nd and 10.
Warriors are in that 6-3 defense.
Vermillion calling signals, backs are split, receiver wide to the right. The give is to Morgan. Morgan going to the right side, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
That's Scott Kilburn coming from a linebacker spot, and Paco Hostetter, the left defensive end. That was one of the keys I was talking about for the Canton Warrior defense. Defensive ends have to shut that outside down, contain it all, turn it inside so the linebackers can get there.
Kilburn and Hostetter are very aggressive defensive players. 3rd and long. Backs are split. Wing back to the right. The give is to Morgan. Morgan is trying to pass it back over to Vermillion here on the left side, and he is nailed back there.
Corey Bellows, number 68, charging through for the Warrior defense. That's one where they do give up a block there in order to sucker the defense out way, because he wanted to throw back to the quarterback, but the quarterback was covered. Good play by Denny Coyle, right defensive end of the Warriors, to stick with the quarterback there.
So Larry Geisler in deep punt formation. We have
the ball's over his head, Stu.
Bad snap. Picks it up, he does get a kickoff miraculously. Taken upfield, no, it's very wisely Jason Ward lets it roll, and the Canton Warriors are in excellent field position.
We had a hybrid there. That was a cross. Jason Ward was just about deciding to let that go. He wanted to catch it, and number 41, Ryan Swatsworth, stepped in front of him and fielded it to down it for the Trojans so that Ward couldn't return it any farther.
Ball is on the 35-yard line. That's where Troy started. So they gained absolutely nothing, even with a punt.
Might point out that the Trojans were facing into the wind on that, too.
Smith gives the ball straight up the middle to Bellows. Picks up 2 or 3.
Now Bellows cut up inside there. They were working over the right side of the line, but they didn't really get the opening they wanted. He cut it back in toward the middle a little bit. Got a little bit of running room for about 4 yards.
Brings up 2nd and 6. Morris is split to the right, Woodward to the left. Backs are in the I formation. That's Smith handing to Bellows. Bellows has some room over the right side. Crosses the 30, gets down to about the 27-yard line.
Bellows had a nice block from Curtis Smith, the lead back there. And
number 22, Jeremy Colago on the tackle for Troy.
Trojan defense came up and shut that down. It appeared he had a bigger hole, a little more room than he would have. Number 22, Jeremy Colago. That's the name I'm looking for there on the chart. Came up, made a nice stop. Jeremy
3rd and 3. That's Ward in the slot to the right. The give is to Bellows. Bellows gets down across the 25 to about the 24. That's going to be enough for a first down.
Boy, they've got it spotted right on the stripe, and I think they'll measure it. They got the ball. Oh, no, they decided. The stick was on the stripe, and the ball's splitting the stripe, the middle of the ball right on the stripe, so I guess they decided they didn't need to measure that. Pretty good defense by the Trojans, though, as they shut that down in the middle. In the middle there, number 55 coming in there, Toby Everts, did a pretty good job. Or no, 58. Tim Kelly.
Right. Backs are split. Give is to, that's Ward coming around from the right slot back. Picks up a couple of yards.
That's a counter play that Canton runs a lot, Stu. Most teams run the counter maybe 2 times a game. They don't use it a whole lot, but the Warriors have run it 5-6 times a game. You'd think, of course, everybody scouts it, everybody sees it, but I guess the idea is if you execute it, it'll go anyway.
Picked up a couple of yards at 2nd and 8. Smith and Bellows in the I formation. Ward slot back to the left. Give is to Bellows up the middle.
They're working in off the right tackle of the Warriors.
Ball is spotted about on the 21-yard line.
Trying to work in there behind Corey Bellows and Scott Kilburn, right guard and tackle of the Warriors. I don't think they got the push they wanted on that play.
Woodward to the left.
Warriors are in an unbalanced line here.
They have been. They played an unbalanced line all last week. Pass out in the flat to Bellows. Bellows down across the 10. He's at the 5. He scores. Touchdown.
Oh, they're going to mark him out. No, they're going to mark him out at the 1-yard line.
He didn't quite make it in. I thought he did.
I saw as he planted his foot there, he was pretty close to the chalk. I wondered if they would call that or give him the touchdown. But
well, we were a little over-optimistic.
He's just short of the touchdown. As he went to jump in front of that last defender, I saw him plant his foot hard, and he did come down near the chalk. On a quick look, I couldn't have told you whether he was in or out, but the officials mark it out there.
1st and goal for the Warriors. Backs are in the I formation. Ward is in the slot to the left. Smith gives the ball to Bellows over the right side, and the Trojan defense holds him out.
He stopped there by number 17. 17 is Nathan Hall. Did a good job there. One-on-one tackling, dropped him.
Good defense by the Trojans. 2nd and goal. 6:50 remaining in the first period. Woodward to the left. Morris to the right. Jason Ward, the slot back in the left on the left side. The backs are split. That's Ward in motion to the right. Smith keeps it over the. Oh boy! Now everyone was looking at that back moving.
Yep, they sent the man in motion. Got a lot going on in the backfield, and Smith just tucked in behind left guard Lehman and dove right in for the score.
They had a hole big enough that you and I could have gone through.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you could have.
So it's 6-0.
I'm a little slower than I used to be.
6-0 Warriors here in the first period as they made a 35-yard march down the field.
Warriors attempt the two-point conversion a lot, and they usually ask for the ball on the left hash mark.
And that's exactly what they're doing here.
Quite often Smith just backpedals and waits for someone to open on a crossing pattern.
He's going to pass this time. Has a man open on the far side. That's Morris coming across, and the two-point conversion is good. So there's a timeout on the field with the score. Canton 8, Troy nothing. Good place to put commercials. Yeah, 6:29 was the time. Get that? Okay. Five, 4, 3. Well, we're all set to go here for the kickoff after the touchdown and extra point conversion by the Canton Warriors, leading 8-0.
Warriors got a nice opportunity after the punt snap went over the punter's head by the Trojans. The punter did chase the ball down and get a kick away, but from his own goal line, Warriors got the ball, I think at the 35, wasn't it, Stu? And
35-yard line.
Took it in then for the score on a few plays.
Kick goes to Isbell on the near side about the 10-yard line, cuts across the far side of the field, and gets about to the 33-yard line where the Trojans will set up shop right where they did before.
And that was sophomore Brian Huffman making the stop on that kick coverage. Terry Paris got a piece in there too, and Kevin Lehman. But Warriors probably giving up that ball out a little farther than they'd like, out at the 32-yard line.
So Jason Vermillion brings his team out of the huddle, and we have a timeout for something. The official is calling a timeout. Okay, we have an equipment problem. Jason Woodward is wide to the right. The give is to Morgan. That's Morgan with absolutely no gain again.
Paco Hostetter came across that left defensive end for the Warriors and snuffed that one right away.
No gain, about 2nd and 10. 5:47 remaining in the first period. 8-0, Warriors leading. Joby Allen goes to the right this time. Vermillion splits his back. Give up the middle to, I believe that's Osgood.
I believe.
Picks up a few yards, maybe 6.
That's that quick hitter, the inside trap that I mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast. Troy quite often goes to that when they need to get something going. That's the basis of their offense. They have a lot of plays that come off that. They make it look like that, and when everybody starts keying on that fullback with the quick one up the middle, then they can work some other things off of that. So
3rd and 5. Vermillion looking for Woodward on the far side. The pass was low and away from him. He was unable to pick it up.
Boy, Darren Morgan coming out on a pass pattern just ran over Jason Ward, one of the linebackers for the Warriors. I wouldn't have been surprised to see a flag go offensively for that one, but offensive pass interference, but the ball was far away from that action, I guess.
4th and 5, punting situation for the Trojans. Larry Geisler stands on his 25, gets the kick away. It's a low end-over-end kick. Takes a Troy bounce. It's going to roll dead on about the 21, 22, 23-yard line.
Well, Swatsworth got down there with nice coverage. He's got good speed. Quite often see him as the outside man for the Trojans on the pass patterns. They like to go to him, and used his speed there well on the punt coverage. He was down there to take away any chance of a run back.
So leading 8-0 with 4:49 remaining in the first period. Brian Smith will bring his team out of the huddle. He has Curtis Smith and Greg Bellows in the backfield. Matt Morris split end on the right side. Bob Woodard on the left. Ward is in motion to the right, takes the pitch, and is hit immediately.
Jason Ward on the carry.
That one was shut down early. Number 17, that's Nathan Hall, I believe, came up, shut that one down early, took away the outside corner and forced him back up in, then made the tackle himself. Nice play by Nate Hall.
Nate Hall had a good game last week.
You know, as I look at the numbers out there for the Trojans, Stu, it strikes me, and this may become important later in the game, Troy has more kids that play only one way. Canton has, the majority of their starters are offensive and defensive starters.
That's very true. Give off the left side, and I don't see who has the ball.
Now that's Curtis Smith, tucked up inside, first back through. They gave it to him this time.
Gets to the 30.
Jeremy Palago, number 22.
Where it'll be about 3 yards short of the first down, 3rd and 3.
And is that number 9, Jason Isbell? Yeah, he came up kind of limping after that. You see him limping as he steps back to his defensive back spot there, Stu.
Notice they have number 13, Justin Smith, playing on the line of scrimmage, a down lineman. He's listed as a free safety on the roster. Give us to Bellows, nothing there.
Oh, he bobbled the ball there, almost lost it as he was contacted hard by Tim Kelly, inside linebacker, shot in with the first hit and almost shook the ball loose, but Bellows got it back as he leaned forward.
So the Warriors will have to punt. The ball spotted right on the 30-yard line. Scotty Kilburn will be in deep punt formation. Back to receive for the Trojans, Darren Morgan and Jason Isbell. Gets it away. It's a high kick taken by Morgan on the 35-yard line. Gets about to the 39 where he slips and is down there.
Downfield on the coverage for the Warriors was number 79, Terry Paris. He's probably their biggest lineman, and he was first man to make contact down there. That's a pretty good effort, Stu.
It is. .228 in the first period. The Warriors leading 8-0. Trojans have the ball spotted on the 39-yard line. We have Woodward split to the left this time. Single back in the backfield, 2 slot backs. The give is straight up the middle to Osgood.
I haven't seen the number yet, but judging from where he came from, I'd say it's Osgood. Yeah, it is. He's tucking in behind Pete Belowski there, the big center, and Pete's pretty big. Do you have a size on him? Seems to me he's a middle 200s. He's a pretty big one, 76.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 230.
Yeah,
senior.
He's definitely, you look across the 2 lines there, I think he's the biggest guy out there right now.
2nd and 7. Backs are split. That's Osgood in motion to the right. Vermillion keeps it. Crosses the 50 into Warrior territory to about the 48-yard line where he has a first down. Troy's initial first down of the afternoon.
That's the option play. Jason Vermillion faking to the fullback inside, moves down the line. If the defense plays in toward him, he'll pitch to the trailing back. If not, he'll fake that pitch and turn up.
And don't forget, he was a running back.
Yeah, oh yeah.
1st and 10, 1:16 remaining in the first period.
Yeah, in fact, I believe, let me check the stats here, but I think Jason Vermillion is their 3rd leading rusher.
I think you're right. Keeps it again across the 30 down to the, across the 40 rather, down to the 36-yard line. Just tucked it away, and
Brian Smith, the safety for the Warriors, making the tackle, but when your safety's making the tackle, that means it's a big gain for the offense.
bad news.
36-yard line of Canton.
First and 10 for the Trojans on the move for the first time this afternoon. The backs are split. Vermillion gives the ball over the right side.
Gave it inside to no, that isn't Osgood. That's Morgan that time on the carry. Morgan's the biggest of the Troy backs.
He's 5'10", 170. He's a junior. He's got another year left. This time we have Joby Allen to the left. Backs are split. Vermillion gives the ball on the inside handoff. Oh my goodness.
That's Isbell.
That's Jason Isbell, and he's down to the 5-yard line. He just kind of snuck through there.
That's the counter coming back the other way. They start the action inside and veering a little toward the right, come back with a back handoff going to the left. And a real nice block on the corner here. I didn't get the number of the block, or a real nice block to push the defensive end toward the outside and let Isbell cut back up inside him.
Well, that's the end of the first period with the score, Canton 8, Troy nothing. We're at Miller Moyer Stadium here in Canton, Pennsylvania for the 1994 Old Shoe game. The Canton Warriors leading 8-0, but Troy's knocking on the door.
Crowd's picked up a little since opening kickoff, Stu. Kind of a late arriving crowd, but the sun's coming out stronger now. And
what a lovely afternoon for a football game.
Very nice.
September and November. Ball is very near the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the Trojans.
Once the Trojans got that option working, that started things clicking for them a little. Now they option this way, and Vermillion keeps it.
He's tough to bring down. Crosses the 5, gets to about the 3-yard line. Close to the 3. Second and goal. Troy threatening here in the second period, trailing 8-0.
Second and goal from the 4.
That's Allen way to the right. Vermillion's going to keep it again, and this time he is stacked up there by the middle of the Warrior line.
They're getting a good push on that right side. Right tackle for the Trojans, number 78, Keith Packard, is really getting a surge there. I think that's giving him a little soft spot on that right-hand corner to work on a little bit. That's why that option's working. That's why they're running that way right now.
He's 5'9", 260. Woodward, wide receiver to the left, split way to the left. The give is to Isbell, and Isbell is denied. He gets to the 1.
Okay, they came back. That's the same play that when we were going the other way on the field that went for the big gainer, and that was Packard coming down the line. I saw him pulling this time to block on that defensive end on the left side. So 5'9", 260, and runs like a deer. Huh?
Well, maybe a big deer.
Does a nice job on the block coming down there, though.
And Troy is calling a timeout, so there is timeout on the field with the score, Canton 8, Troy nothing. You're not going to let this run during... You know, I once... No, you can let that run. I'm talking about.
Warriors face a key defensive situation here, Stu. 4th and 1, ball at the 1.
Early in the game, a critical situation for both teams.
If the Trojans push this one in, that'll be a big lift for them. If they can't get it in, Warrior defense will come away proud.
Wide receivers Allen to the right. Vermillion keeps it, and the Trojans are awful happy.
Trojans say touchdown, but the officials moved in. Now they signal it.
Touchdown, Trojans.
I'll tell you, I lost sight of him myself, and we got a good high view here, Stu. As he went down, it's hard to say where he hit, where the ball was. The officials ran in, took a look, and signaled touchdown.
So it's 8-6 in favor of the Warriors. Let's see what the Trojans do here.
Trojans came what I would consider kind of late to the game, and I really didn't see them work on their kicking game too much before the game, Stu.
Nope. Okay, here we go for the point after attempt. For 2 points, the pitch is to Morgan, and he's denied. First Paco Hostetler, then the rest of the left side of that Warrior defense denies him, and so the score now is Canton 8, Troy 6. We'll be right back.
45 and 56 for the Warriors. At 10-11 into the second quarter. Canton 8, Troy 6.
Okay, the Troy Trojans are set to kick off after their touchdown here in the second period, trailing 8-6 as their conversion attempt was no good, denied by the Warriors. Larry Geisler teased the ball up. We have Bellows and Ward back to receive the ball, standing on the 9-yard line. That wind has picked up again. Here's Geisler's kick. Straight down the field and into the end zone, through the end zone, and that'll be a touchback.
Nice kick.
Had a little help from the wind.
Got it up high, let the wind carry it, and very effective. Warriors have to start from the 20 now. High school ball, I think 30 is about normal starting position after most kickoff and returns. Probably if you averaged it all out around the 30. And so with a kick for a touchback, that's always a big thrill for the kicking team. Keeping them at the 20-yard line's good.
So the Canton Warriors, Brian Smith setting up shop on his own 20. Curtis Smith and Greg Bellows in the backfield. Matt Morris and Bob Woodard. That's Jason Ward in the slot to the right. The give is to Bellows over the left side. Gets about to the 24-yard line. Pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
That looked like the wham play that the Warriors have liked year after year. Run a lead back in there. He hits the linebacker. The running back carries the ball in behind him and cuts one way or the other if he can. If not, just run into the stack and push it all forward.
2nd and 6. Smith splits his back. Ward is in the slot to the right. Give is to Smith, straight up the field. He crosses the 30 to about the 33-yard line. That's good for a first down.
And I thought for a minute there, the way Smith almost slipped that first contact by Isbell, I thought he was going to break it. Smith is very stocky, very sturdy built, but I'll tell you, Stu, when he hits the open field, you wouldn't believe the speed he has for the size and build he has. He's very muscular, and you wouldn't believe how fast he is. He can really move it when he gets in the open field.
Listed at 5'9", 185. Backs are split. Ward in the slot to the right. Give us to Smith again, and he's met there by a host of Trojans.
That one didn't really look smooth there. Smith, Brian and Curtis seem to get hung up a little on the handoff.
It seems to me that the Canton backs line up awfully close to the quarterback.
Ball at about the 31-yard line.
I noticed that in the Athens game on the videos that we saw. Second and 12. Backs in the I formation. Ward in the slot to the right. Give is to Ward coming across the left side. He gets almost to the 40-yard line. Brought down at the 39 there by Tim Kelly and Jeremy Colago and Jason Isbell.
Kelly really makes a lion's share on these tackles, I think. He's very active. Of course, that's your inside linebacker spot. That's probably why he's there. He's the tackler on the team, you know. Playing a real good game so far. Nice hole opened up there for Ward. He popped up through and got in behind the tight end. Bob Woodward followed his block for a little ways.
3rd and 4. And Smith calls for a timeout. So there's a timeout on the field with the score, Canton 8, Troy 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the concession stands. That's what is that place called? The South Business Dealing, hot dogs, hamburgers, baked goods, coffee, gum, chips, all those kinds of goodies. And the band boosters on the west end of the field, visitor sign. They have special today, hot dogs.
Well, apparently Brian Smith saw something he didn't like as he brought his team up to the line of scrimmage and called timeout.
Well, either that or he saw Coach Moyer jumping up and down signaling timeout. Coach Moyer saw something he didn't like, I know that. He was pretty animated there. He wanted a timeout. And apparently, for whatever play they had called, Troy was set up right in the right spot to stop it, I think.
Well, let's see what happens. 3rd and 4 with 7:46 remaining in the first half. Backs are split. Ward is in the slot to the right. He's in motion now. And we're going to have a motion penalty against the Warriors. One of the linemen pulled up.
Looked like Terry Paris got an early start there from his tackle spot. It's going to cost him 5 yards.
Of the game.
First one, yep. Been well played so far.
And clean. So it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Warriors. The ball is spotted on the 33-yard line. This is Ward in motion. Smith drops straight back. He's being pursued and tackled.
That's Ryan Swatsworth coming through.
Nice play by the Trojan linebacker.
Swatsworth using that speed defensively came through and dropped Smith that time. That brings up a 4th down for the Warriors. And right now they've got a punt and punt into the wind.
Scott Kilburn will be standing inside his 15. Morgan and probably Isbell, I can't see his number. Kick is to the far side. It's fielded by Morgan. He bobbles it but hangs on to it. Gets some nice blocking upfield, crosses the 50 down to the 45, across the 40. And he is...
the key there is missed tackles. The Warriors had 3 or 4 guys make contact and not bring Morgan down. Morgan, pretty strong runner, just running through the arms of the Warriors.
Gets down to the 36-yard line. Good field position for the Trojans for the first time this afternoon. And now we have another official timeout.
Did something happen to the chains and down marker? Something over there they're working with.
Well, don't they lengthen that out a yard for Troy and then shorten it for the Warriors?
I think it became tangled up with Troy coach's headphones.
Getting it corrected.
1st and 10 from the 36.
They took someone on a free ride over there for a couple of seconds.
Okay, the chain is all lengthened out now, and it's 1st and 10. We have 6:51 remaining here in the first half. Canton leading 8-6.
Of course, Canton was set up in business early on that bad snap on a punting situation for the Trojans. Short punt following it.
Been the difference in the game.
Yeah, it really has.
This is Woodward.
Troy's had the momentum since then, I think.
Woodward to the right. Now in motion is Morgan. The give is straight up the middle to Osgood. Osgood has a big hole and gets down to the 17-yard line.
That's the inside trap again. This time they sent backs in motion to draw a little attention away, and that's pretty much run a lot the way the draw play that Athens scored on twice last week. Send people in motion, draw everybody out to the sides, and then once you pop through that front line of the Warriors and the linebackers, there's nothing but grass in front of you.
1st and 10. Allen is wide to the right. The give is up the middle.
Scott Kilburn and Paco Hostetter shut that one down. They collapsed down from the left side. Left linebacker and left defensive end came down the line.
Yeah, pick up of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Jason Vermillion brings his team out of the huddle. Sends Woodward far to the right. Backs are split. That's Osgood in motion. Vermillion keeps it up the middle. Cuts across to the left side and scores. Touchdown, Trojans.
And he left 4 Warrior tacklers on the ground behind him. He faked that handoff to Morgan, kept it himself, but turned right up in behind Morgan. So Morgan was like a lead blocker for him. And then he just broke it off to the left on a slant, right back against the direction all the Warriors were coming down. And as he went by, he just ran right through 4 of them.
Outstanding run by Jason Vermillion. Troy leading 12-8. And they're going for the 2-point conversion. That's Allen wide to the right. Backs are Osgood and Morgan. That's Osgood in motion. Vermillion keeps over the right
He's
side.
He's got that one in.
Makes the 2-point conversion, so it's 14-8. Troy leading, and we'll be back after this. Well, the Troy Trojans, by virtue of some outstanding running by Jason Vermillion, their quarterback, leads in this game 14-8 with 5:25 remaining in the first half. Larry Geisler teeing the ball up to kick off to Greg Bellows and Jason Ward standing on the 3-yard line. Last kick went into the end zone and through the end zone.
This one will be a little shorter.
Yep, this will be taken by Ward on the 10, 15, crosses the 20, cuts back to the left. He's got some open space, gets to the 37-yard line where he's finally tackled there by...
that was number 12 on the tackle, and I think he's the kicker.
I think he is, yeah, that was Larry Geisler.
Yep. Geisler with a key tackle because Ward is probably one of the few players the Warriors have with breakaway speed. Warriors probably speed is not their strong suit this year.
Almost did it there. 39-yard line, let's call it. 1st and 10, 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Ryan Smith stacks his backs. Ward in the slot to the right, in motion to the left. Smith keeps the ball, crosses the 40-yard line, gets to the 43.
You know what that was, Stu?
That was a broken play.
No.
No.
That was option.
Okay.
But that was an option without an inside man to hand it to. He was working down the line. He was going to pitch it if they came at him. And when they all went for the backs, he turned it up. So the Warriors saying, okay, you're going to option us. We'll come back and option you.
2nd and 6. Ball on the 43. Backs are stacked. That's Bellows in motion. Pass over the middle to Woodard. Complete at the 47-yard line. I believe it's going to be short of a first down.
Just a little short, if anything. Jeremy Calago made a nice tackle there. That one's not designed, really, to go the whole way. That one's designed like, you want 4 or 5 yards here, we'll get it. We'll throw it real quick. And they've got a big, tall tight end there, Woodward. He's probably about 6'3" or 6'4", and he just leans in there, pulls it in.
6'2", 175. We're going to measure.
A little short.
Short by half a foot or so.
Yep.
So it'll be 3rd and 1. Or 3rd and half a foot. Ball spotted near the 48-yard line.
3:56 to go in the half, so big big play for the Warriors here. If they can get this first down, they've got some time and room to work here.
Smith sends Jason Ward to the left. Backs are split. Unbalanced line to the left. Give is to Smith. Smith across the 50 down to the 45 and finally brought down about the 42-yard line.
And boy, Jason Isbell is really having trouble with a knee, I think, from the way it's wrapped there, Stu. He made the tackle on the play, but after a lot of plays, he struggles to get up. I wonder just how strong that knee is.
Yeah, he's hurting.
Nice run by Curtis Smith there. Good blocking. They go unbalanced, run to the strong side, and Smith, little spin moves there.
Yeah, nice run. 1st and 10 in Trojan territory. Single set in the backfield. This is Ward in motion to the right. Give is to Curtis Smith again across the 40 down to the 39, the 38-yard line. So Canton establishing some ground game here.
And like I said, this is the thing they've struggled with most of the year. Is they, Canton Warrior football traditionally is a ground game, and they haven't had that strength with the ground game that they wanted.
2nd and 6. Backs are stacked. Ward in the slot to the left. That's him in motion. Smith gives the ball to Bellows. Bellows is met there immediately by Swatsworth and Travis DeGarmo and a couple of other.
Okay, Swatsworth moved right up. He's on a blitz, and he's keying Bellows. So he just shot through and tackled him. He would have shot through and tackled him whether he had the ball or not, I think, the way he was coming. It looked like he's keying right on Greg. Probably they know that from that lineup, that offensive set, and with Ward in motion, that's likely where it's going.
3rd and 9. Little pass in the flat to Woodward. Woodward catches the ball on the 30 for a first down, and what a nice play.
That's the fade pattern. That's the one that they just, it's timed out. They toss it up in the air. Woodward knows about where to run to, about how high to jump, and worked well that time.
Excellent play. Of course, Woodward has sure hands. So 1st and 10, the ball is spotted just inside the 30-yard line. Jason Ward is in the slot to the right. The backs are in the I formation. Smith's going to pass again. Same play to Woodward. Complete inside the 15 to about the 11, and we have a flag.
And let's see which way. It's going to be pass interference. Is it offensive or defensive? A little bit of pushing going on there to get free. I don't know which way they'll call this.
Against
okay,
Troy.
Defensive interference. Woodward had his eye on the ball and ready to turn for it. A lot of contact between the two boys' arms there, and that's Jason Isbell.
Number 9 is Isbell, yeah.
On that coverage, and he's having trouble running, Stu, and I just was thinking after the first completion of Woodward there that they might come back on that again because the man covering him can't run too well.
That's
and
exactly
now
what they did.
They're taking him out.
Yep.
Troy has number 30 in now.
That's Woodward.
Jason Woodward?
That's it, Jason Woodward in.
So we'll probably have Woodward on Woodward here.
Yep. Troy calls timeout. So there's timeout on the field. With 1:33 remaining, the score is Troy 14, Canton 8. Okay, we're all set to go. The ball is spotted on the 12-yard line. The Warriors have 1st and 10 with 1:33, trailing 14-8. And Jason Isbell limped off the field after that last play. The Warriors took advantage of his injury.
Well, it really looked like he was giving it everything he had, but just looked like the leg was too sore. It looked like he had a knee brace on, but I don't know if it's the knee or the ankle. You know, it's hard to tell without talking to a player or a coach what it was hurting him, but he was having a lot of trouble walking, let alone running on that leg.
Okay, Brian Smith has his back split. Jason Ward is in the slot to the right. Takes the snap, gives the ball to Curtis Smith over the left side. He's down to the 5, crosses the 5, out of bounds at about the 3-yard line.
Nice run by Curtis Smith there, doing some spinning off the tacklers. He gives a little dimension to the running game that the Warriors didn't have earlier in the season, and that is breaking tackles.
Stopped there by
a lot of them.
Yeah, stopped by Nathan Hall and Jason Woodward, who came in for Isbell. 2nd and about a yard. That's a long yard, maybe.
2nd and 1 from the 4.
Jason Ward in the slot to the right. The backs are split. That's Brian Smith. Hand off to Curtis Smith over the left side. He's going to score. Touchdown, Canton.
3-yard touchdown run for Curtis Smith. Looked like it was designed to go off tackle. Things looked a little stacked up in there, and Smith just used his speed, broke it out to the left. There were 2 defensive men there, but he just ran around them, Stu. He had the angle and the push to do it.
He has good vision. He can see what's out in front of him and make the adjustment. So we're tied at 14 with the extra point conversion attempt coming up. 1:23.
Looks like the Warriors will go for 2. Same ball requested on the left hash and same offensive set in there.
Beautiful sunny afternoon here in Canton, Pennsylvania. Okay, the backs are split. Jason Ward in the slot to the left. Now he's in motion. Smith drops straight back. Now he rolls to the left. He's being chased by Swatsworth. Throws into the end zone to Woodard.
He's in. I wondered whether he got in or not.
I wasn't sure if he was or not. But the official says good, and so...
He was in when he first caught it. He spun around. He was looking for where he was. I think he was in when he first caught it and actually driven back out, if anything. But once you're in, you're in.
So there's a timeout on the field with the score. Canton 16, Troy 14. Stu Wilson and Steve Williams with you from Miller Moyer Field here in Canton, Pennsylvania. We've got a barn burner, Steve.
It's a great one. It's a great one. You know, I was really hoping for this. These two teams, probably neither one real pleased with how the season has gone totally for them, and it's nice to see a really good game, a lot of excitement. A good, fun way for the kids to end their season because, as I said, neither one's going to get a shot in the district playoffs at where they're seated now, and it's nice to see them go out with a beautiful afternoon and a great game.
And who wants to see a blowout? Here's Scotty Kilburn's kick. Going to be taken there by Morgan. Comes to the near side, crosses the 30, 35, 40, 45, and tackled by Paco Hostetter on the 47-yard line. 48 make it. Nice run back by Darren Morgan.
Trojans just had some nice blocking down here on the near side to open that up, and Morgan, of course, strong enough to run through some tackles, once again making a difference.
Darren Morgan is an excellent runner. 5'10", 170-pound junior. Jason Vermillion brings his team out of the huddle, sends Jason Woodward far to the right, as is Jason Isbell.
I think I'd throw one long with the wind at my back here, Stu.
Well, I think he might do that. Straight back. He has Morgan open, and it's complete. Being chased there by Brian Smith. And he is finally brought down on the 10-yard line. Wow. 43-yard, 42-yard pass play.
When you have the wind at your back like that, the quarterback just has to lay it out and let the man run under it, and that's what he did.
And Brian Smith was very unhappy with himself.
Yeah, pretty close coverage there with Smith, and I think, if anything, what he was most upset about was that he didn't make the tackle right away when it was completed. Ran right with the man for quite a few steps there and turned into a big gainer.
Allen wide to the right. The give is up the middle. And that's Osgood.
Corey Bellows made that stop, and he's starting to fight off the big tackle over there, Keith Packard. Corey Bellows, quite a bit smaller than Packard weight-wise, but he's taller. Got quite a different frame than Packard does, and that time he fought right through the block and made the tackle. Nice play by Bellows.
And the Troy Trojans have called timeout with 45 seconds remaining here in the first half. The score is Canton 16, Troy 14. On a windy Saturday afternoon here in Canton, Pennsylvania, we have a barn burner of a football game going. 16-14, 45 seconds remaining in the first half. The Trojans with the ball. The ball is spotted on about the 11-yard line. They can get a first down without scoring, but they don't have much time to do it. That's Jason Woodward wide to the right. Backs are split. In motion is Osgood. Give is Vermillion keeps it over the right side into the end zone.
That's a touchdown.
Touchdown, Trojans.
Jason Vermillion, that's what was that, about an 11-yard run there?
11 yards.
I tell you, they've got to answer that problem. They seem to have most of the people on the Troy offense accounted for except for Jason Vermillion. And the Warriors really have yet to stop him on those keepers.
20-14 and 20-16 rather, and Troy lining up for the two-point attempt. We have Joby Allen to the right, Isbell to the left. In motion is Osborne. Vermillion is going to keep it, and that time they had his number.
Yeah, that time they just got a good push. Corey Bellows, Justin Morse, and Paco Hostet are all getting in there early.
So we'll be back with Troy's kickoff. There's a timeout on the field. The score, Troy 20, Canton 16. .39 seconds remaining here in the first half of football. 20-16, Troy leading as Larry Geisler will tee the ball up on the 40-yard line.
You know, Stu, defensively coming into the game, Trojan defense was averaging, giving up 24.6 points a game. Warrior defense 15.3, and we're up around those numbers already, only kind of vice versa, but this may turn into a high-scoring thing by the time it's over.
Very well could. Kick goes to Bellows on the 10, straight up the field, still on his feet, going to the right side, still struggling, gets to the almost to the 30-yard line, where the Warriors will set up shop. 1st and 10.
Nice return by Bellows, considering the amount of interference that was down, or the amount of tacklers down there, and he didn't have a whole lot of blocking there, but he broke through a couple of tackles and made the best of it.
So Brian Smith with about a half a minute, 23 seconds to get something going here in the first half. Drops straight back, fakes a pass to Woodward, now lays it out there for him, and it's over his head. Covered there by Jason Woodward. Woodward on Woodward.
That's that fade pattern, only a longer version of it. They're throwing that one deep, trying to get Bob Woodward open behind Troy's defender, Jason Woodward.
2nd and 10.
Warriors have called a timeout, Stu.
They have 40-second timeouts in high school.
No, they're all the same length.
That must be their last one. We've had a lot of timeouts here in this.
Well, we had a few
game.
officials timeouts, and no, I guess we didn't have an injury timeout yet.
No, I don't think so.
We've had a lot of scoring. That's where
and very few penalties.
A lot of scoring brings those timeouts, too.
Yeah, very few penalties. I'm impressed with that. Fairly well played football game, at least offensively, as the score might indicate. 20-16 in the first half. Well, the boys are headed back out to the...
You know, I was looking here. I can't seem to find it. And all these things I read prior to the game, I thought I had stats on penalties. And I thought both clubs were fairly heavily penalized over the season, Stu. And I think we've had one penalty.
Yeah.
That one being an illegal procedure on the Warriors.
No, we had a pass interference. We had two.
A pass interference, too. But,
one each way. Okay, second and 10, rather. 13 seconds remaining in the first half. See what the Warriors opt to do. Smith dropping straight back, passing on the right side to Ward, and he didn't
even know the ball was there.
No.
Darren Morgan knew it was there, the defender for the Trojans, and it's a good thing that one was thrown where it was and that Ward was between Morgan and the ball, because Darren Morgan had a bead on it.
Warriors dodged a bullet, actually. 8 seconds. 8 seconds remaining. Should be the last play of the first half, unless we get a score and an extra point. 20-16, Trojans leading. That's Ward in motion. Smith hands the ball off to Bellows. Bellows going up the right side, and finally is brought down at the 45-yard line. Actually, a saving tackle there by, I believe it was Calago.
That's the way the half ends, Stu, on the tackle by Calago. Great half of football by the Canton Warriors and the Troy Trojans.
We'll be back with halftime activities after this timeout.
Marching band now entering the field. Under the field direction of senior drum major, Mr. Rogers and Amy Cansfield. The band will be presenting their Old Shoe halftime show in Mid of Hollywood for you this afternoon. The Trojans open their show with Parade for Hollywood. Next, the cartoon characters of the Flintstones, as the band plays Meet the Flintstones. Next, senior chorus players Denny Clinko and Stan Hancock, and our major acts are featured in It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. Who could ever forget that box office hit, The Wizard of Oz? Brenda Sargent, senior trumpet soloist, is featured in Over the Rainbow. The band recaps the show with Parade for Hollywood Reprise. Gretchen and Amy, is the band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, lights, camera, action!
As the Troy Trojan Marching Band leaves the field, we'd like to remind you that tonight's TV10 cablecast of the Old Shoe Classic is being brought to you through the cooperation of these fine Canton and Troy sponsors. Citizens and Northern Bank in Troy, where you can save time and money. Carmen's Villa, Canton. Friendly Italian dining and fast takeouts. Ted-bound fundraisers, serving the entire area so you can profit. Ace Distributing, Canton. Great variety of popular beverages in stock. Cook's Pharmacy, Troy. Prescriptions, in-store photo processing. Moore's Automotive in Canton. No fads or fancy stuff, honest experience. Landon Cedar Ledge, Canton. Everything you need when you need it. The Canton Independent Sentinel. All the news, sports, features. The McClure Motors in Troy. Check out the new 95 Ford Contour and Mercury Mystique. The Canton Pharmacy, complete prescription service for the cough and colds. Miller Chevrolet in Troy, now with the exciting Jeep Cherokee. Baldwin Hardware in Canton, your one-stop Service Star dealer. Stull's Flowers, shops in both Canton and Troy. Say it with flowers. Landon Tire in Canton. Hercules Tires for all roads and all seasons. Chrissy's Food and Friends in Canton, for the best delicious fast foods. Laurie's in Canton. Great fashions in sports clothing. Canton Building Supply in Canton. Remodeling supplies and ideas. The Canton Body Shop. Let Jim Brenchley knock it back in shape. Campbell's Pet Shop in Canton. Tropical fish, birds, reptiles, plus cages. Eastern Best Dairy Store in Canton. Lunches, snacks, or buy by the bulk. First Citizens National Bank of Troy. Check out our roll-up CD Smart Money. And the First National Bank of Canton, a friend to help your dreams come true. Please remember to patronize our fine sponsors and tell them you saw their ad here on TV10. And now we listen to the Canton Marching Warriors. They're at the hop.
the Canton Area High School Marching Warriors. We'll be back with a look at the first half statistics right after these messages.
I think we have some spirit building here. I think we
Well, Steve, we saw an interesting first half of football here.
Well, the scoring started out on the Canton side, Stu. At 6:29 to go in the first quarter, the Warriors scored on a one-yard run by quarterback Brian Smith. He followed that up with a two-point conversion pass to Matt Morris, and the Warriors led 8-0. First quarter closed out that way with an 8-0 Warrior lead, but then early in the second quarter, Jeremy, help me with the name there. Vermilia. Jason Vermilia. We got a couple of Jasons in here. Jason Vermilia scored on a one-yard run and the conversion was stopped, so that brought the score to 8-6 with Canton in the lead. Then Troy came back and scored again. Vermillion on about a 20-yard run, and their conversion was good that time. Put up 14 points for the Trojans. Warriors taking the field now down through their spirit line, getting ready to start the second half. With 1:23 to go in the first half, the Warriors got back on the board when Curtis Smith took in a 3-yard run for a touchdown. Brian Smith's pass was complete to Bob Woodward for the 2-point conversion, and the Warriors led 16-14 at that point. But a short time later, the Trojans were right back. There was a long pass play to Jason Woodward from Jason Vermillion, and then Vermillion followed that up with an 11-yard run of his own, and this time the Troy conversion failed. So right now we have a halftime score of Troy 20, Canton 16.
Steve, neither of these teams have a good record of turnovers. They're both minus on the season in turnovers, and yet this first half, there were none.
Turnover free, yeah. Looking at the stats for the first half, first downs, the Canton Warriors 7, the Troy Trojans 7. Rushing yards, Canton Warriors have 78 rushing yards, Troy 134. So there's a big edge to Troy right there. The pass, Canton Warriors 57 yards passing, Troy Trojans 51 yards passing, but I might point out that's 51 yards on one pass, one completion for 51 yards. Total offense, Warriors 135 yards, Trojans 185. Trojans have an edge in the yardage, and they have an edge in the score, not surprisingly. Warriors completed 4 passes out of 6 attempts, and Trojans 1 pass attempt, 1 completion. No interceptions, no fumbles lost. 1 penalty, the illegal procedure by the Warriors. There was an interference on the Trojans on 1 pass play, but it was a completion on the play, so the interference was declined anyway. And the punting game for the Canton Warriors, 2 punts for 67 yards, an average of 38.5 yards a punt. Trojans 2 punts for 49 yards, an average of 24.5 yards a punt. So both teams suffering in the punting department here today, but I think we know why. It's the wind. The wind is practically blowing the clipboard out of my hand here, and now we've got some clouds moving in, Stu. It looks a little dark off to the west. I hope the weather holds for the rest of the game.
I hope it does. Thanks to Al Spencer for those statistics, and we'll be back with the second half kickoff right after these messages.
What's this for? Chicken sign or?
Stu Wilson and Steve Williams with you from Miller Moyer Field here in Canton, Pennsylvania for the 40th Old Shoe game.
Stu, I'm going to ask you a question here. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but as the captains leave the field there, Troy Trojan, number 34 in street clothes, would that be Jim Smith?
Yes, it is.
Second leading ground gainer for them, but not dressed for the game today due to injuries.
Something came to my mind during halftime. This is the first time I've been in this area, some 25 years. First time I recall a Canton football team without a Mockmer on it.
Not a single one?
I don't think so.
That might be a record of some kind.
It might be. All right, the Troy Trojans will kick off to begin the second half here of the 1994 Old Shoe game. Back to receive the kickoff, Greg Bellows and Jason Ward. Bellows on the near side, Ward on the far side, standing on about the 5-yard line. Larry Geisler has the ball teed up.
And we're ready to kick off the second half. Number 12.
The referee blows his whistle, and we're all set to go. The second half is underway. The kick is short, taken by one of the up men. That's Scott Kilburn, crosses the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
Scott Kilburn taking that. A lot of people think, oh, you don't want one of your linemen handling that ball, but he played running back about half the season before they moved him to guard.
Yeah,
that's not a problem there. He's just one of the up men.
Yep, I'd let him carry a football any day. All right, the Warriors set up shop. The ball spotted on about the 33-yard line. Trailing 20-16. Opening play of the second half. And a pretty nice mid-autumn afternoon here in Canton, Pennsylvania. That's Ward in motion. Give is to, Brian Smith keeps it. I thought he gave to Curtis Smith up the middle. Play is diagnosed well by the Trojans, and Brian Smith is thrown for a loss.
So I'll tell you, I think what helped the Trojans was right up front, just before the snap of the ball, the Trojan defensive line shifted and either went into an odd man line or an odd look, which means they've got a man nose on the center. And things just didn't seem to get blocked at the point of attack there. We'll see how they go defensively this time.
Ball spotted on the 30, 2nd and 12. We have Smith and Bellows in the backfield, Ward in the slot to the left. Brian Smith calling signals, drops back to pass, and he's nailed immediately by Ryan Swatsworth.
Okay, Trojans are into a 5-3 now. Came with a 5-3 that time. Five defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and the Warriors just didn't block it. That might be something they talked about at halftime, decided to go into. If they were going into that in the first half, I didn't notice. It may be what they've come up with to handle that unbalanced line.
Smith dropped back just a couple of steps, and Swatsworth was there with his arms around his waist. 3rd and 15. Stiff breeze out of the southwest blowing right in our face. That's Ward in motion to the right. Give is to Bellows. Bellows across the 30 to the 34-yard line. So that'll bring up 4th down, and the Trojans, the Warriors rather, will have to punt.
Scott Kilburn got up a little slow after that one. See if that develops into anything. He's not only a guard, he's the Warrior punter and kicker. Now he's asking for what the coaches want him to do.
I thought he was asking for a timeout. Okay, back to receive the punt is Allen and Isbell, not Allen, Morgan. Kilburn gets the punt high in the air, and the wind's going to carry it out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it.
Where that one land, almost in the stands, that's going to be a short punt by the time they mark it on the field, I think. Tough wind.
Marked at the 40-yard line.
Well, that's better than I assumed it would be, because it landed at about the 40 over there by the bleachers, but the wind did blow it across.
So the Trojans will take over with 9:21 remaining in the 3rd. Ball spotted on their own 40-yard line. They're leading 20-16.
You know, I'm a little surprised the Warriors didn't come out and go to the pass with the wind at their back like that, Stu.
Well, Smith tried.
It's kind of a crossing wind, but it favors you when you're headed toward the north end of the field a lot better than the other way.
That's Morgan in motion. The give is up the middle to Osgood.
That was the inside trap there, but that one, the Warrior defense kind of had the Troy blockers stumbling over each other. They got a good push inside there, made it a short gain.
Yeah, picked up a couple of yards. He's 2nd and 8. Joby Allen is the wide receiver to the right. Backs are split. That's Morgan in motion. Vermillion is going to pass, being pursued. Gets the pass off, and it's, well, how are they going to rule it? I thought it hit the ground. The official says no, he caught it.
Well, it looked like a catch to me. I was looking not down on the monitor. I was looking out at the field. I didn't have a real close look, but it sure looked like a catch to me.
Well, the official had a closer look than either one of us, and he said it was.
That ball just died in the wind, but the receiver was able to dive back and get it.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Warrior 46-yard line. 20-16, the Trojans leading. That's Jason Woodward coming wide to the left. Isabel, the wing back to the right. The backs are split. That's Osgood in motion. Vermillion keeps it, turns back upfield, gets to the 45-yard line, and he's stopped there, and we have some handkerchiefs on the field.
Yeah, I think we have an illegal block or a hold. Yeah, holding on the Trojans. Right here on the corner, Terry Paris, defensive tackle of the Warriors, was coming across, and they kind of tackled him as they got there.
So that'll bring up, that'll be 1st and 20.
Holding is the call against Troy. The ball will be placed.
Marking it from the spot.
From the spot of the foul.
So it should be about 22 then.
Yep. 1st and 22.
On the 42-43-yard line.
Very long. Okay, the backs are in the I formation. Woodward is split wide to the right. Vermiglia gives the ball up the right side to Morgan, and he's met there by a host of Canton tacklers.
Kilburn and Hostetler making the tackle there.
Isbell on the carry, number 60.
I see Isbell's back in the game this half, Stu.
Yeah. Apparently a little rest is what he needed.
Well, judging from the, it looks like a knee brace he has on, it's probably a leg that hasn't been good for a while.
Yeah.
And he's probably used to it.
Moving quite well, though. Here's the give to Morgan. No, it's a reverse to Woodward coming around from the right side, and it fooled nobody. He fumbled, and the official says the Warriors have it. Scott Kilburn recovered the fumble on the Canton, on the Troy 38-yard line.
Penalty flag on the play, but that's an illegal block on the quarterback there, making the block at the corner. Warriors will decline that and take the ball, I'm sure.
So Canton will set up shop deep in Trojan territory, trailing by 4 points here in the third quarter. 7.5 minutes remaining in the third.
And Jason Woodward there, sometimes trying to make something out of nothing, you get yourself into a little trouble. He didn't have any more running room. He was already held. In the struggle, he lost the ball. So, you know, may have been a little better off to go down with it there.
Yeah, but that's against the nature to do that. That's Jason Ward in the slot to the left. The backs are split. The give is to Curtis Smith up the middle. Picks up a nice gain of about 5 yards. Brings up second in about 5.
Nice tackle by Darren Morgan there for the Trojans. Curtis Smith really runs it up in there hard, Stu.
Yes, he does.
He's bringing a lot of punch with him. When he makes contact, he hits and spins too. It's difficult to tackle him.
He hits the hole very quickly. Backs are split. Ward in the slot to the left. Give is to Curtis Smith again up the middle. Bowled over one would-be tackler. Gets down to the 24-yard line.
Just saw a little difference from the beginning of the game right there. I don't know if you picked it up, Stu, but at the beginning of the game, Curtis Smith was the fullback, the up back, and Greg Bellows was the tailback. On that play, they were reversed, and Bellows led the blocking in there, and Smith took it out around his block once they cut up in. So let's see how they line up this time. Now Smith's back up at fullback and Bellows at tailback. Boy, no distance between them, though.
No. This is Bellows over the right side. Nice hole down to the 20-yard line. Gain of about 6-7 yards.
Can't get over how they're having the backs set on that offense there, Stu. The tailback is literally up against the fullback.
Well, that's
they start to play.
That's the way they were doing it against Athens too. They're very close to the quarterback and very close together. This time Jason Ward is to the left. Backs are in the I formation again. Give this time is to Bellows again over the right side. Down near first down territory, across the 20 to about the 17-yard line, maybe. Closer to the 19.
Yeah, a little short of the first down. Brings up third down and maybe 2 yards. Last 2 plays were the same thing. The last 3 plays were the same thing. And one time they had Curtis Smith at tailback. The other 2 times they had Greg Bellows at tailback. Now they come out in a split backfield.
Backs are split. Jason Ward in the slot to the left. Brian Smith with unbalanced line to the left. Give up the middle to Curtis Smith. Down to the 15-yard line, down to the 20-yard line. No, that's the 15.
You're right, you got it.
And it's a first down.
That one looked real nice. Nice blocking on the right side for the Warriors. And Just a quick one, designed to get about 3 yards, and that's what it got.
Curtis Smith, a very effective runner, and he's only a sophomore, according to the roster.
Yes, he is.
5'9", 185 pounds. I formation again. Again, Ward in the slot to the left. Matt Morris to the right. Bob Woodward to the left. The give is to Bellows over the right side. Bellow down to the 5 and inside the 5 to about the 2-yard line, where he's tackled there by Rob Gilliland and Jeremy Colago.
Nice tackle there to prevent the touchdown, but damage was done as Bellows bounced that one outside, got down the right sideline. That's just about where he was forced out back in the first quarter there, Stu.
Yeah, it was.
Same play, too.
So the ball is spotted at about the 3-yard line, maybe the 4. First and goal for the Warriors, trailing 20-16 here in the third period of the 1994 Old Shoe game. Give is to Bellows up the middle.
Now, he didn't make it that time.
Maybe a yard.
He got a good push in there, but then number 41, Swatsworth, just shut it down as he made contact, and the rest of the guys got on there, helped him hold him out of the end zone.
Second and goal, 4:18 in the third. Ball spotted about the 2-yard line. Cloud cover moving in. The breeze picking up again. Give this time to Bellows over the right side. Touchdown, Warriors!
You got to give that credit to Bellows there for keeping his feet moving. He was smacked early and lost his balance and just kept his feet driving, kept a hand down to hold himself up, and the ball broke the plane of the goal line there, Stu. That was quite an effort by Greg Bellows.
Good
nice
runner.
Play.
Good runner. So it's 22-20 now. Exciting Old Shoe game. Warriors will go for 2, I assume. I haven't seen any kicking. Have they during the season?
Yes, they have. And in fact, they have a 25-yard field goal at one point this season. That might come into play at some point today. But most of the time they run or pass for the conversions.
Backs are split. This is Ward in motion. Smith's going to pass. Being chased by 3 or 4 Trojans, and the pass is caught. The pass is caught, but he's out of the end zone.
Yeah, he's caught, but he caught it, but his feet were in the end zone. The ball didn't get in. That was the problem. The ball didn't get in the end zone.
So the extra point attempt fails, and it's the score now is Canton 22, Troy 20. We'll be back. 3 minutes, 57 seconds remaining in the third period. The Warriors just went ahead 22-0. An interesting conversion attempt. The pass, I believe, was tipped, and Bob Woodward caught the ball, but he was out of the end zone. So we're all set now. Scotty Kilburn will kick off for the Warriors. Now there he is. Back deep for the Trojans is Morgan and Isbell.
And back in the second quarter, the Warriors scored to go ahead, but within a few short plays, Trojans came right back. Let's see if the Warriors are able to hold the Trojans this time and hold on to that lead, or whether the Trojans come roaring right back again.
Kilburn's kick is low, line drive kick, played on the bounce by Isbell on the 15-yard line. Goes down the right side, crosses the 25, where he's brought down at about the 27-yard line.
And that's probably coverage that high school coaches are pleased with there, keeping the ball down about the 27-yard line. Like I said, I would think the average run back high school is out to about the 30, so if they keep it back behind the 30, that's a pretty good job.
Jason Vermillion, the junior quarterback for Troy, will bring his team out of the huddle. He sends Jason Woodward wide to the right. His backs are split. He has Isbell in the wing position to the left. Morgan's in motion. He's going to pass straight down the field and over the head of Darren Morgan.
Boy, he had Darren Morgan open. If that pass had been laid in there to the receiver, that one would have done a lot of damage. And that was Jason Ward there on the coverage. He had Morgan behind him there for a few steps.
2nd and 10.
He's got to keep that man in front of him.
Yeah, if Darren Morgan gets behind you, he's gone. This time, it's Joby Allen wide to the right. Isbell split to the left. The backs are split. Now both backs move in motion, and that'll bring the flags out. Hankey's all over the place.
Nice carry on the option by Vermillion for about a 5 or 6 yard gain, but that one I think will come back.
That'll be called back.
Well, we did it, Stu. We bragged about them at halftime for a few penalties, and the flags have been out in full force here third quarter.
Yep.
We jinxed them.
Yep. So that's a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd and 15. Ball will be spotted about the 23-yard line. This time we have a tight formation. Isbell in motion to the right. Vermillion back to pass. He's got Isbell open, and Isbell has a beautiful reception at the 47-yard line.
No, it bounced out. He caught like the back half of the ball there, Stu, but unfortunately for him, the first thing coming down was his hands, and as he came down there, the ground knocked the ball out of his hands. Beautiful effort. That
was a Bob Woodward type catch.
Oh, that I tell you, that was some effort. He almost brought that in. He had his fingers from about the halfway point on the ball or less on back toward him. He just had the back end of it.
Half a step down the field and he'd have been gone. So it's 3rd and 15.
Yes.
Vermillion tries to pass over the middle, and I believe as he was letting go of the ball, he was hit, and the pass falls harmlessly.
Number 51, Denny Coyle, the defensive end, and Terry Paris, the tackle from the right side, got in there. Paris got a good push inside, and Coyle came untouched and hit Vermillion right in the back as he was ready to throw it.
So it's Larry Geisler time, standing on his 10-yard line. He'll punt to the single safety.
Warriors will probably go for a block here.
The ball is over his head. He's in the end zone, and it's going to go. He tries to punt it. It's covered in the end zone by the Warriors, and that's a touchdown.
I'll tell you, Stu. That's touchdown Warriors, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see. Did the Warriors jump offside? If the Warriors jumped offside, that one's coming back. That's right at the line of scrimmage. Wait a minute.
It would have
No,
been.
false start, Trojans. It'll count.
Touchdown stays. Now, Larry Geisler would have done well to down that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, fall on it or just take your hand, pick it up, throw it right out the back end of the end zone. It's only 2 points, and you get to kick from the 20-yard line and let your defense play a little. But, you know, he did that in the first quarter when that one went over his head. He picked it up, and he had a lot of pressure on him, and his only thought was getting that ball off. And I wondered at that point early in the game if he wouldn't have been smarter to, you know, down it or throw it out the back of the end zone to give up 2 points. Now, Trojans have given up 6.
Well, there you saw the score, 28-20, and the Warriors are going to, again, go for 2. That's Jason Ward in the slot to the left. The backs are split. Brian Smith under center. Ward's in motion. And a flag.
That one came all apart. Looked like the defense jumped across, and no, we have delay a game. That's what it is. Delay a game. That one, something was wrong there. I heard whistles and saw people jumping and others not moving.
So Paco Hostetler is going in the game. I believe he'll.
Well, now what they'll do probably is kick. He's the holder for kicking. See if Scott. Yeah, here they're running out the block and the kicking shoe for Scott Kilburn. When he switches shoes to kick, and that's always, you know, maybe our camera can catch it after the next kickoff. It's always a scramble for Kilburn to be able to get his regular playing shoe on and tied before the first play because he's also a defensive linebacker.
He hasn't discovered Velcro yet.
Yeah, Velcro, you know, a Velcro kicking shoe. You inventors out there might earn you a lot of money in this country. Of course, there aren't too many that kick straight ahead with the square-toed shoe anymore.
Not
anyway,
anymore.
Stu.
I don't think anyone in the NFL does that I can think of.
No, most of your major colleges and all the pros use soccer-style kicking. But, of course, they have a kick specialist anyway. He could run out there with ballet slippers on and kick it if he wanted. Some of them have done it barefoot, right?
Some do.
Yeah, and barefoot.
No ballet slippers.
Well, I wouldn't accuse him of it. If you want to,
Well,
go ahead.
we're not going to kick. We're going to try for it. This is Ward in motion. Backs are split. Smith drops straight back, being pursued, gets the pass off, passes to Bellows, and the conversion is good.
Smith got hurt, though. Smith's elbow hit a Trojan helmet. Just as he threw that ball, the point of his elbow made contact on a helmet, I think.
How many times have we seen that happen? The elbow or the wrist?
Right now, I bet he's got a stinger right down through there and probably doesn't have much grip in his hand.
An expensive 2 points.
You folks at home, you know what that is? That's your funny bone.
Yeah. 30-20, and that ain't funny.
Not at all.
30-20, the Warriors all of a sudden on top here with 3 minutes left in the third period. Now Kilburn is tying up his shoe. There's an opportunity to get a look and see what he's doing here. Ready to kick it off to Morgan and Isbell. Morgan on the far side of the field, Isbell on the near side. Standing on their 10-yard line.
Isbell and Morgan each for Troy. Kilburn.
3 minutes left in the third period of this 40th Old Shoe game. Here comes Kilburn's kick. Low line drive kick taken by Morgan at about the 15-yard line to the 20. Goes on the far side to about the 25 or 26-yard line.
You know, Stu, action was coming fast and furious after that bad snap and the whole thing there with the punter from Troy and the touchdown. I don't think we ever mentioned who recovered that ball back there for the touchdown. It looked to be Terry Paris, I think, if I'm remembering right. But things were really happening there in a hurry.
You're right.
Well, we'll give Terry the call for now, and by the time our folks hear this cable cast on Monday night, they'll know the real answer.
Or they can just hit rewind and check it out. Okay, that's Osgood in motion to the right. Vermillion keeps it. Picks up about 4 yards or 5. Gets to the 35-yard line.
That's a nice play on the option. He read the defensive end, decided to turn up inside. Defensive end was shading out a little. And, of course, that's his job. He's got to contain it, not let anyone get outside him.
2nd and 5. Vermillion has been, I guess, their most effective runner today.
He really has. Of course, at halftime, they had a big edge in rushing yardage, and I would have bet that 3/4 of it, anyway, was Jason Vermillion.
Yeah, I think so, too. Okay, backs are split. Now that's Morgan in motion. Vermillion gives straight up the middle to Osgood. Osgood maybe picks up a yard. Maybe.
You know, seeing Jason Vermillion have such a good game in the Old Shoe game here, Stu, makes me think of this close rivalry between the two close towns leaves many relatives kind of torn. Jason Vermillion's got grandparents over here in Canton, and I'm sure they're very proud of him. Maybe they're rooting for Troy today. I'm sure they don't want to see Canton get beat, but you always want to see a relative do well.
Well, the give is to Isbell, and he's stopped immediately. No gain. Boy, the Warrior defense is clamping down here. Third period. 4th down, they're going to have to kick again, and twice now the kick has got them in trouble. Barry Geisler standing about the 22-yard line. Bellows and Ward back to receive the ball. Standing
boy, that's a bad snap again, but Geisler got it.
Straight up. And rolls out of bounds on the 41-yard line. Very, very good roll for the Trojans. That ball went straight in the air.
Well, I'll tell you, Ryan Swatsworth is doing the snapping, the long snaps for the punts, or he did, actually I should say he did on that one. I didn't check who it was earlier in the game.
Nor did I.
And maybe Ryan's in there because it went bad earlier for someone else. I really don't want to give him credit for all of those if he doesn't want them.
Well, there have been three bad snaps on punts for
I'll
the
tell
Trojans,
you,
and it cost them all 3
that
times.
one was an excellent play by Geisler, the punter, to get over and get that one, because that was way off to his left.
Okay, Ward's in the slot to the right. We're in the I formation. Brian Smith gives the ball to Bellows straight up the middle, across the 45, stopped at the 45-yard line. Swatsworth in there in the middle, and a couple of other Trojans.
Kelly on the tackle, I think, finally there.
Kelly and Swansworth have been all over the field today.
Boy, I'll tell you, that Kelly is rather thickly built. He's a tough-looking guy.
2nd down and 6. Slot to the left. Backs are split.
Now they move Kelly up in the defensive line.
Give us to Curtis Smith over the right side.
And he's gone.
The 50. Goodbye. Tackled from behind by Nate Hall at the 4-yard line.
I think Curtis was hurt a little bit, but his teammates won't let him be, Stu. They grabbed him, pulled him right up on his feet because they're excited. He got caught from behind, and he probably landed with his stomach on the ball the way he hit there.
Guarantee that'll knock the wind out of you every time.
And we have a Dr. Kurkowski going out to check Curtis Smith out.
Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter, and the score is Canton 30, Troy 20. The final period of the 1994 Old Shoe fracas between the Troy Trojans and the Canton Warriors. Stu Wilson, Steve Williams. Who's Steve Smith?
I don't know.
I know, he played fullback for the Nittany Lions a few years ago.
No relation.
No relation.
No relation.
Well, we got some Smiths on the field doing a heck of a job this afternoon. Brian Smith, the quarterback for the Canton Warriors, and Curtis Smith, a sophomore, running back for the Warriors.
He just broke off a long one, folks, and I saw something I really haven't seen a lot of this season. I saw Jake Schaefer come off the field with a big smile on his face as he helped Curtis off. Jake was just beaming ear to ear there. That's that running game the Warriors have been hoping to get going all season. And
1st and goal for the Warriors. The ball is on the 3-yard line. Brian Smith gives the ball to Bellows. Bellows looking for room over the right side. He gets in. Touchdown, Warriors!
Bellows followed his blocking in there, just stayed with it, and bounced outside at the last minute, went the 3 yards for the touchdown. He's really good at that, keeping his feet moving until he gets the room to run there. Did a nice job with it again that time. It's helped him all afternoon, helped him all season, and it's a nice technique. He's a great runner.
Well, we had a barn burner in the first half. The Warriors have kind of broken things loose here with 11:56 remaining in the football game. They're leading 36-20, 16-point lead, and they're going to go for 2 again. Jason Ward to the left. Backs are split. That's Bellows and Hostetter. And I felt a drop of rain. Smith passes complete to Matt Morris coming across. 2-point conversion is good, and the Warriors lead 38-20.
Well, Stu, it's going to be raining here shortly. I have just this awful feeling. I felt a couple raindrops, but I got to tell you that about the time the weather turned, so did the Trojans' fortunes and the Warriors' fortunes. Trojans were playing really tough all first half, and the second half just hasn't gone their way so far. We'll see if they can mount a comeback here.
Does anyone bring any garbage bags? Well, Gisela, if you're listening at home, bring us some garbage bags. All right, the Warriors are going to kick off here after the extra point conversion, leading 38-20. And we have Morgan and Isbell. Morgan on the near hash mark, Isbell on the far hash mark, standing on their 10-yard line. Scott Kilburn will kick off. Kick is taken by Morgan at the 20-yard line, cuts to the near side, and he is tackled Whoa, tackled there by number 79.
Terry Paris. I mentioned several times in this game that Paris, he's probably the biggest starting player for the Warriors, and how quickly he's downfield is just unbelievable, Stu.
He's very fast. He's 6'2", 205, and he's got another year left. So the ball is spotted on the 27, 28-yard line. That's Jason Woodward coming to the near side. Isbell in the slot. Backs are in the I formation. Jason Vermiglia is passing over the middle. Intercepted by Bob Woodward. He's at the 30-yard line. Down to the 21-yard line, where he's tackled by Ryan Swatsworth and Jason Woodward. So it's all going Warriors' way now.
Well, I'll tell you, football coaches always want their kids to learn from their experiences, and Bob Woodward learned, because that was the same pass pattern that at the end of the first half, the Trojans came back and threw for a long gainer against him that got them down to get their score to take it up to 22 points for the Trojans. And this time Woodward was there waiting for the ball. He knew it was coming, sniffed it out, made the play.
You can do it to me once, but shame on you if you try it again.
That's right.
Backs are split. Ward's in the slot to the left. Smith gives the ball over the middle to Bellows. Bellows picks up about 5 or 6 yards, gets near the 15-yard line. We'll call it the 16. Second and 5. The air getting a little damp here this afternoon. You know what happens when you hang onto a microphone in the rain?
Let me guess.
Your eyes light up. Paco Hostetter is in at fullback for the Warriors. And the give is to Hostetter right over the middle, down across the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
And the Warriors are running plays in and out with Hostetter and Smith now.
Third and 3. 9:46 remaining in the football game. Warriors leading 38-20. And what started out as a barn burner, all of a sudden broken open.
The barn's still burning, but it's going one way right now.
The fire department went home. Give us to Smith up the middle across the 10 to about the 9-yard line.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of game left, though. I'm sure the Trojans aren't ready to just pack it in yet, Stu.
First and 10.
Actually, it'll be a first and goal.
Yeah.
They're just inside the 10 there, and I see they put the first down chains down and got the down marker up.
Backs are split. Ward is in the slot to the right. Brian Smith gives the ball to Bellows over the left side, down to about the 6-yard line.
I think that one was Hostetter, 45 on the carry.
You're right.
He came out of there. Paco doing a nice job getting him in the hole there. Had a nice hole to run to. Makes it a lot easier.
He's 6 feet, 180 pounds. So he's, you know, they don't lose anything in size when he gets in there. He's a big lad.
Got to give a little credit to that offensive line of the Warriors. Woodward, Paris, Lehman, Coyle, Kilburn, Bellows, and Morris. They're opening nice holes this half.
This is Bellows over the right side. Gets down across the 5 to about the 3.
Bellows 42 on the carry. Morgan 32 on the tackle.
Well, mark it at the 4.
Ran that one toward the right side. They were trying to get a little jab step going one way and get the blocking opened up on the right side over there between Kilburn and Bellows.
And
but the Trojans did a pretty good job of shutting that one.
Yes, they have. The Warriors called timeout with the score. Canton 38, Troy 20. 8:02 remaining in the football game. 38-20, the Warriors leading the Trojans. They have a 3rd and 4, 3rd and goal actually. Ball just inside the 5-yard line. Brian Smith gone all the way for the Warriors. Apparently shook off the injury to his elbow, the stinger. Paco Hostetter is in, and Greg Bellows. And they're split. Jason Ward in slot to the right. Smith's going to pass, looking for someone in the end zone. It's complete to Woodard. Touchdown, Canton.
4-yard pass from Smith to Woodward. Backing up, they had a lot of action going on the left side in the pass patterns, and Woodward just came sneaking out to the right, threw it, turned back and threw it. Brian's doing a nice job today of looking off the coverage. He's looking one way, then come back and throw to the man he's intending for. That's a real nice job. It disguises things and catches the defensive backs unaware.
Bob Woodward all alone in the end zone, and the sure hands hold on to it. The Warriors lead 44-20. Now we're going to kick. Scott Kilburn will try the extra point. Paco Hostetter will hold. 7:57 remaining in the football game. Here's the snap. The ball is down. The kick is up. And it's good. So there's a timeout on the field with the score. Canton 45, Troy 20. Steve Williams, would you say the Canton Warriors are fired up?
I'd say something got really psyched up at halftime. They were fired up for the game, but the first half it was a push and shove contest, and Troy Trojans were really hanging in there. But this second half has just been all Warriors, Stu.
It appeared when they first came out that Troy had made some adjustments at halftime that was...
Yeah, the first 3 offensive downs didn't look that sharp for Canton.
And then all of a sudden, bang, things fell apart for them, and the Warriors took advantage of some mistakes and played some pretty good football and played some good defense, and they're in charge. Here's the kickoff. That's Darren Morgan at the 13. Cuts back across the field and, whoa, runs into...
Larry Wisniewski just dropped him in his tracks there. Nice tackle by Larry.
Ball will be spotted on the 36-yard line. By this time in the game, the players and the sideline people have got the markers all knocked down. It's hard to tell where the ball is. But it's the 36-yard line.
36, yeah. And I think Troy's got to throw in a hurry here, Stu.
Yes, they're going to have to. If they want to get back in this football game, they're going to have to air it out. Okay, backs are split. Jason Vermillion sends Morgan in motion, drops straight back to pass over the middle of Morgan. That was...
Now they'll call interference on that, but I'll tell you what, I think that was a good defensive play. Jason Ward was right behind Morgan. He reached with both arms, one arm in front of him, one arm in back of him, and it looked to me like he got the ball and knocked it down. But
you can rewind your VCRs and see.
Yeah, I may be wrong, but interference call goes against the Warriors. That'll be a first down for the Trojans.
Ball spotted on the 48-yard line, make it. 1st and 10 by virtue of a pass interference call.
You know, it wasn't a bad penalty to take if it was interference by Ward, because Morgan was inside him and had the...
Could have scored.
Yeah, had the whole inside of the field to work with there.
Pass intended for Morgan at the 30-yard line, and it's out of bounds over his head. Incomplete.
32, Morgan, incomplete. 33, Jason Ward.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. 7:20 remaining in the football game.
Warrior defensive front trying to get some pressure on there. Denny Coyle, Terry Paris, Kevin Lehman, Glenn Trick, Corey Bellows, and Paco Hostetter, the front 6 men.
Jason Woodward and Isbell wide to the left. The backs are in the I formation. Vermillion back to pass. Over the center, intercepted and dropped by Scott Gilbert, and he's not too happy with himself. Had it in his hands and just couldn't quite hold on.
Caught it about 3 different times, but never did really catch it.
Incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Well, at this point, the Warriors can just sit back there and wait for the ball to come. Basically what they're doing. Front 6 guys are trying to put a big rush on up front, and everybody else is dropping, and we got 5 guys back there waiting for the ball and making a break at it.
Joby Allen comes to the right, as does Jason Isbell.
Kenny Griffin in on defensive end now.
Backs are stacked. Morgan in motion to the left. The give is up the middle to Osgood. Osgood near a first down inside the Canton 40-yard line.
I think he's got it from the looks of it from here.
Looks like a first down spot. The officials called timeout.
Now they've decided first down.
7:07 and counting. 45-20, but the Trojans are on the move, but they've got to hurry. Jason Woodward checks in with the play for Jason Vermillion. He goes wide to the left, as does Isbell. Backs are stacked. Give is to Morgan.
Now the Trojans have just, I think, have just picked up on something that could have helped them out a lot earlier in the game when they're putting 2 wide receivers out to the one side. They call it twins. The one's a flanker and one's the split end. That brings the Warrior defensive end out on coverage. So you really have no one at the corner to force a running play back inside there, because the defensive end is out to the side.
Right. Joby Allen is wide receiver to the right. The give up the middle to Osgood. Stays on his feet very nicely and gets down across the 30-yard line to about the 26-yard line, where he has a first down. But the clock is counting. Just under 6 minutes. Jason Woodward checks in with the play.
I tell you, Osgood just kept moving there. A lot of hard contact, and he spun out of there.
Jason Woodward comes to the right side. Backs are split. That's Osgood in motion. The give over the middle. No, Vermillion keeps it, cuts back inside, gets down to about the 23-yard line, or the 22. That'll bring up second down, second and about 6. They're using an awful lot of time.
Yeah, Trojans have gone back to the running game, and that's where they were having success in the first half, and running toward this right corner here. Warriors having a little trouble stopping that there.
Jason Woodward, the receiver, set to the right side. Vermillion has nobody open and tucks it away and runs out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
Kevin Lehman and Scott Kilburn knocked him out of bounds there, and that's good aggressive play there. Kenny Griffin, the new defensive end in for the Warriors, came across quickly and forced Vermillion deep on his roll there, and so that one never really had a good chance of success from the start.
3rd and 11. Joby Allen checks in with the play and comes wide to the right. Osgood and Morgan, the running backs. This is Isbell to the right side. Vermillion calling signals. Rolls around to the left to pass. Has, well, actually nobody open down the far side. The ball is intercepted at the 6 or 7 yard line.
Matt Morris came down with the interception there. Nice play by Matt. He stayed with his man, just moved in front of him when the ball got there.
The receiver really wasn't open.
No, that man was covered, but Vermillion was under a lot of heat. Paco Hostetler was in there on him, and he had already rolled about 15 yards or close to 20 yards deep behind the line of scrimmage, so he just wanted to get rid of that one in a hurry.
So with 4:39 remaining in the football game and counting, the Warriors take over. They're inside their own 9-yard line, but they stop a Trojan drive on a big play by Matt Morris.
That's Jason Ward on the counter there, Stu, and nice play at the corner by the Trojan. The man that's down is the man that made the tackle. He injured himself somehow here. Can't see which player it is. We'll wait.
Gain of about a yard.
4:08 to go in the game, and the Warriors lead 45-20. We get to a minute to go in the game, and I'll give you a trivia question, Stu.
That's about all I know.
Well, you'll be good at this one.
45-20. Warriors now just running the clock out, or they will. I guess this would be a good time to pause. There's a timeout on the field with the score. Canton 45, Troy 20.
Come on, 50-10!
4 minutes, 8 seconds, and the injured player on the field is Jeremy Calago, cornerback for the Troy Trojans. Got run over by a reindeer.
Well, he made a nice effort to tackle Ward there.
He did. He kept him.
He dove way out and stretched out, and maybe he pulled a muscle or something in that dive. They look like they're looking at his side almost. I'm not sure.
Well, I tell you what, I'd rather them be looking at a side than a leg.
Yeah.
He's on his feet. He'll be all right. He'll have to go out of the game. May have just had the wind knocked out of him.
Yep.
45-20. Warriors leading the Trojans, the 40th Old Shoe game. This will be the 6th year in a row that the Warriors have kept the Old Shoe in their trophy case. So the Trojans, in order to get anything going, they've got to get this ball back in a hurry. They can't let the Warriors use the clock up. Paco Hostetler and Greg Bellows in the backfield. They're split. Ward is split to the left in the slot. The give is to Hostetler up the middle. Stays on his feet, crosses the 15-yard line.
He never did go down, came out of the pile at the end after the whistles blew, Stu.
He's tough.
That was a nice effort by Paco. Warriors will keep the ball on the ground now probably and not run anything out wide toward the sidelines. No sense letting that clock stop when you don't want it to.
3:25 remaining in the football game. It's all over, I guess. Has the fat lady sung yet?
Well, not yet. 25 points in a high school game is 3 scores, so
yeah,
it could happen.
Well, it could, but give us up the middle to, is that
Yeah, that was Curtis Smith on the carry, but he had nothing there. Trojan defense did a nice job there. Man getting up now, 58. That's Kelly.
Yeah, Tim Kelly.
The inside linebacker. Really got a nice push in there, right through the blocking and stopped that one. That brings up a punting situation for the Warriors.
240, 237 and counting, 45-20. Scott Kilburn will punt from his own 4-yard line or 5.
Trojans having a little trouble getting on the field in time, getting ready for that punt return team.
Nice
Kilburn,
punt, mishandled by Morgan, but he picks it up.
And, there was a clip right in the middle of the field. Number 71 got just nailed in the back there. I guess a flag came in here finally, but Kapachak really got hit from behind there. Yeah, they've got it. The officials have that. Morgan with a nice return there. Mishandled it at first, but once in a while that works to your advantage. It kind of changes the angle everybody has to run at and makes people let up a little.
Changes the timing, people let up, and some exciting things sometimes happen. But not this time.
Well, and it would have gone back anyway with the illegal block. So.
So the Trojans will take over on their own 32-yard line with 2:10 remaining, and the clock is running.
Warriors making some changes on defense now. I see Bill Temple in there. See if I can identify any others as they play.
Osgood in motion. Give us to Morgan.
Morgan, that's Corey Bellows on the tackle. Bellows rode him for about 9 yards before he ever tackled him. Nice strong running by Darren Morgan there.
Pickup of about 7 or 8 yards. Maybe 9.
All right, I see Bradley Connect in there for the Warriors on defense now, too. Number 75, Chris Arnold's in.
Second and 1, and the clock is running, and the Trojans don't seem to be in a hurry. I guess there's not much reason to hurry now anyway.
No.
Backs are split. This is Jason Woodward to the near side. 2 men in motion, and that'll bring a flag. Pass is complete to Morgan, but it's going to come back.
And it's a shame because it's a nice play. Big gain down to the 35-yard line of the Warriors, but that one's coming back in illegal motion.
Good individual effort by Darren Morgan after he caught that football. That's got to make your day when you look back upfield and see yellow hankies all over the place.
I tell you, the Troy boys go at a hard rate, a hard pace the whole game.
Yes, they did.
They got snake bitten in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. Things just didn't go their way. Turnovers, we hadn't had turnovers in the first half, and there were interceptions and bad snap on a punt, recovered for a touchdown, and the roof just seemed to fall in on them all of a sudden there.
And that picture tells the whole story.
Okay, we're under a minute. It's trivia question time, Stu. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Who was president of the United States the last time the Trojans won the Old Shoe?
I guess it must have been George Bush.
I think Ronald Reagan.
Was it Reagan?
It was the fall that Bush got elected, I believe.
Okay. Guess you're right. I thought you were going to ask me who was president of the United States when the first Old Shoe was played.
Well, that would be a tough one to answer, too.
Nah.
What was the year of the first?
1955.
That'd be Eisenhower.
Dwight David Eisenhower. That was the year I was born. If you believe
Easy
that.
one to remember.
If you believe that, I've got some swampland that Stu Streeter just bought up on the mountain. Thanks to Stu Streeter, our producer, director, cameraman, and all-around good guy. And Jake Schaefer just got the bucket of water.
Coach Schaefer gets a bath, and suffice it to say, the Warriors never do that before the last game of the season, I'm sure.
And then only seniors. Well, the pass is knocked down, 24 seconds remaining in the football game. Jake's going to hug all these guys now to get them wet.
Warriors have another bucket ready. Coach Moyer just got his, too.
Moyer got it, too.
We've got 24 seconds to play here with the Warriors leading 45-20 in the Old Shoe Classic.
Vermillion from the shotgun formation. This is Joby Allen at the 47-yard line.
And he's tackled there by Ross Bird, number 21.
Clock stops while the chains move.
That's
16
a first down,
seconds.
Trojans.
Yep, 16 seconds left. Trojans are going to try keep the pride here a little bit maybe and see if they can score another touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you, they came ready to play and they put on a good contest.
Yes, they did. Shotgun formation again. Vermillion looking for a receiver. Can't find one. Now he has 2 or 3 open, but they're out of bounds. And that's the end of the game. Time runs out. The final score, Canton 45, Troy 20.
Well, the Trojans came over, visiting team. They were ready for the game, put on a great first half, and then they had things just run against them in the second half as the Warriors came out really psyched for the second half and turned the tide around. It's about the time the clouds came and the sun went out that the hopes for the Trojans went out, Stu, because the second half was all Warriors.
You know, you see this, I guess, after every game, but it never fails to choke me up a little bit to see these players. They're out there playing hard the whole game, and here they line up and shake hands and congratulate one another after the game. And, you know, that's good teaching and good coaching, and that's what it's about.
Well, the two schools promote a lot of sportsmanship, and that's the whole reason they're into high school sports anyway. I think nice effort on the part of both teams, both coaching staffs, and a lot of support people too.
Some schools don't teach that, and both these schools do, and I think that's a real credit to the administration of both schools and both coaching staffs and the players and their families.
Well, while we watch the Canton folks celebrate and the Troy folks get together to talk the game over, we'll recap the scoring for you. Canton got on the board first today with a 1-yard touchdown run by Brian Smith. He threw a pass to Matt Morris for the 2-point conversion, and they led 8-0 after 1 quarter. In the second quarter, Troy put up two scores as Jason Vermillion scored on a 1-yard run. His conversion run was stopped, so it was 8-6 at that point. And then they came back, and Vermillion scored on a 20-yard run, and his conversion was good. The Trojans led 14-8 at that point. Warriors came back and grabbed the lead with 1:23 to go in the first half as Curtis Smith scored on a 3-yard run. Brian Smith's pass was completed to Bob Woodward, and they led 16-14. But that wasn't the end of the scoring for the half, as Troy came right back in that last minute 23 and threw a long pass down to the 11. Then Vermillion took it in from 11 yards out. Their conversion was no good, and at halftime the score stood Troy 20, Canton 16. Then in the third quarter, the clouds came, the weather changed, and a psyched up Warrior team came out on the field, and it was all Warriors from then on. With 3:57 to go in the third quarter, Greg Bellows scored on a 2-yard touchdown run. They did not get conversion points on that one, so the score stood 22-20 because Canton in the lead. And then just 57 seconds later, I think it was Terry Paris who recovered a bad snap for a punt. The punter for Troy chased it back into the end zone, tried to kick it out of there, but missed it, dropped it, and Paris, I believe, came away with the recovery for the touchdown. The conversion points came on a pass from Brian Smith to Greg Bellows, and the Warriors led 30-20 at the end of the third quarter. Early in the fourth quarter, with 11:56 to go in the game, Greg Bellows scored on a 3-yard run for the Warriors. Smith completed a pass to Matt Morris for the 2-point conversion. That brought it to 38-20, and then the Warriors closed out the scoring for the game with 7:57 to go in the game on a 4-yard pass from Brian Smith to Bob Woodward. Scott Kilburn's kick for the conversion was good, and that ended the scoring for the day. Final score, Canton Warriors 20, Canton Warriors 45, Troy Trojans 20.
I'm sure the Troy Trojans would have liked the other score better.
Yeah, I think they would have.
Well, Steve Williams, Smith, whatever your name is, it's been a lot of fun working with you this afternoon. Thank you for your help in doing a very professional job. And unfortunately, it's the last game of the season.
Yeah. Both teams done for the season now. Neither one will advance in district playoffs, so that's the end of the season, but what a finish they put on. Great game today on a great day for football.
Absolutely. Once again, the final score, Canton 45, Troy 20. Tonight's TV10 cablecast of the Old Shoe Classic is being brought to you, or has been presented through the cooperation of these fine Canton and Troy sponsors. Citizens of Northern Bank in Troy, where you can save time and money. By Carmen's Villa, Canton, friendly Italian dining and fast takeouts. By Ted Bound Fundraisers, serving the entire area so you can profit. By Ace Distributing, Canton, great variety of popular beverages in stock. By Cook's Pharmacy in Troy, prescriptions, in-store photo processing. By Moore's Automotive in Canton, no fads or fancy stuff, honest experience. By Landon Cedar Ledge, Canton, everything you need when you need it. By the Canton Independent Sentinel, all the news, sports, features. By McClure Motors in Troy, check out the new 95 Ford Contour and Mercury Mystique. By the Canton Pharmacy, complete prescription service for the cough and colds. By Miller Chevrolet in Troy, now with the exciting Jeep Cherokee. By Baldwin Hardware in Canton, your one-stop Service Star dealer. By Stull's Flowers, shops in both Canton and Troy. Say it with flowers. By Landon Tire in Canton, Hercules tires for all roads and seasons. By Chrissy's Food and Friends Canton, for the best delicious fast foods. By Laurie's Canton, great fashions in sports clothing. By Canton Building Supply, remodeling supplies and ideas. By the Canton Body Shop, let Jim Brenchley knock it back in shape. By Campbell's Pet Shop in Canton, tropical fish, birds, reptiles, plus cages. By Eastern Best Dairy Store in Canton, lunches, snacks, or buy by bulk. By First Citizens National Troy, check out our roll-up CD, Smart Money. And by the First National Bank of Canton, a friend to help your dreams come true. Please remember to patronize our fine sponsors and tell them you saw their ad here on TV 10. So, from Miller Memorial Field in Canton, Pennsylvania, I'm Stu Wilson.
And Steve Williams.
And we'll see you next year.